poop in the water. Even though, I got to tell you, this is really weird. In Germany, one of the things they used to do is brew with pond water that was next to a brewery, and it was full of duck poo and spit and other crap. And funny enough, that water still produced good beer because when you're producing beer, it's kind of a natural filtration system. But if you're going to make wine or mead, although the fermentation helps clear up the water a little bit, there's no filter bed of grain that water goes through to pull out the chunks or the things you don't want in there. So it's still good to use better water. And like anything else, I mean, Papa John says it pretty good. Better ingredients, better pizza.
Papa John's fucking dickheads. They do have great pizza, though. So I just got
the
ripped off by them too many times, so, like, fuck them. They've yet to see any more of my money since they ripped me off the second time, told me to fuck off.
Well, Domino's is getting better. But as I'm saying, though, he's right in his assessment. Better ingredients does produce a better final product. So the finer your ingredients you start with, in most cases, the finer the end. For instance, if you're using fruits to produce a wine or a beer, you don't want rotten fruit in there. You want the fruit at its premium taste and flavor to produce the premium final product.
So I have heard a theory that using previously frozen fruit gets you better quality because it breaks all the membranes or whatever into cell walls so that it releases more sugar.
That's not necessarily true. A lot of times frozen fruits are picked and frozen, and oftentimes they're done a little earlier on. But what makes them cheaper and higher quality is the fact that they last a long time, and it's not going to go rotten. But a lot of times you're not getting as sweet or fresh a flavor as you would if you bought it directly from the farm. So, I mean, you've had strawberries fresh from the farm?
Yeah.
And do they taste as good as a thawed-out, soggy-ass strawberry that you just unthawed?
Honestly, I usually find the frozen ones to be a little bit sweeter.
Well, they can be sweeter, but you can also add sugar.
Well, obviously.
Right. But what you're looking for, though, is strawberry flavor. End result is if you're fermenting it, the yeast are going to kill off the sugars, leaving the strawberry flavor without the strawberry sweetness.
Okay.
So frozen is okay. I personally would like to go and pick the strawberries at their peak, or the watermelon, or any other fruit.
Well, I guess, okay. Totally valid point. I hadn't even thought that far. When I heard this, they were referencing, though, like, you have an apple tree in your yard, and you just have a shit ton of fucking apples. You don't know what to do with them all, so you just freeze them because you don't know. Or, that's just one example, or cherries. But whatever it is, you have picked them at their top quality, and then you freeze them.
Right.
You're saying it's not going to produce any better of quality having them, pre-frozen.
Not at all.
Okay.
If you're going to make a jam, and then you take the frozen apples and you put them in the pot, they're going to break down a lot easier, and it'll be easier to extract some of the sugars for doing things like that. But when you're brewing, it's just a matter of peak flavor, peak taste. The sugars are sugars. They're there. And, I mean, if I haven't had an apple tree, I'd make myself a buttload of apple cobbler, and I'll freeze the cobbler so I can just eat that later.
Well, yeah.
But if I was going to press them, freezing them first, just like an apple concentrate, you're freezing all the water out, separating it from the sugars, leaving yourself with a concentration of apple sugars. I mean, that's one way to look at it.
Okay, solid.
So if you have an apple tree, let me know, because I'm ready to make a cicer.
It'd be super cool if I could get anything to grow here. I can't get tomatoes to grow hardly. I had one tomato plant that started growing, and the rest of them they look like shit. They do not grow well at all.
It's the type of soil in your area and watering them appropriately, not to mention our climate here. I mean, tomatoes aren't ready for a 12 index UV.
Well, yeah, no, so I do put them in the shade, but I don't know. I can get thyme to grow. I can get some basil to grow. Man, I don't know. I have a black thumb here. I just can't get dick to grow.
That sounds
wow.
like gotcha. All right, man. So, I got to say, though, on water quality, I don't think we have to touch on it too much more. You can go online. One of my favorite websites is More Beer or More Flavor or morewinemaking.com. They have a huge amount of information for the home brewer to go in and even download specifications or how-tos that you can keep in PDF or just go to the website and check it out. If you're doing a specific type of beer made in, say, England or Germany, they tell you how you can modify your water. They have the different types of chemicals that you can buy. And I say chemicals not in a bad way. Everything's kind of a chemical. But if you're going to buy salts, of any kind for water conditioning, they have it. And so that takes us further on how to brew. But I got to say, though, we did have a couple stories to touch on here. So I got to tell you, this guy's name was Ali. I'm not going to say his last name. So we're in middle school, and this guy just so happens to have this random Ninja Turtle, and it doesn't look very good. And we're trying to figure out what the hell's going on because he had a problem. Like every 45 minutes to an hour, he'd walk in there, and you see him doing something with his Ninja Turtle. And one day, we kind of figured it out. He's banging his Ninja Turtle. That's his freaking girlfriend.
You know, the fucking weird, the weird motherfuckers in high school and just teenagers, they're so goddamn weird. I know I was a weirdo teenager one time. Well, we all were, but Jesus, there's just those few here and there that just, they exceed all expectations of how fucking weird you can possibly be.
Oh, no shit. I mean, I was a kid in the 90s. Finding random porn on the internet just wasn't something easy to do.
Oh, no. I remember my buddy, he found... I think it was back during Yahoo or, I don't remember the search engines, but I think we managed to find Heidi Klum in a sheer green nightgown. That was the best we could find. Like, oh, you can see some nipple. Spank it to that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, go to your buddy's house and find Dad's Playboy collection. That's like from 1976 through like 1994.
It was unfortunate. My dad didn't look at pornos, and neither did his dad. Like, we were just out of luck. We found one of his friend's dad's porn collection. We grabbed one of his magazines, and we just had to, isn't it just fucking weird sharing a porn magazine? But, you got to do what you got to do at that point in life.
You know what? You know who did what when the pages come back sticky? Hey, you know what? Page 14 wasn't sticky when I gave it to you. No, but page 27 was. Shut up. It's not me. Oh, man. But I got to tell you, the reason we're touching on this, we were having this conversation before we started this about bestiality because of this chicken fucker video that his son gave him. And I'm like, you'd be surprised at how prevalent bestiality or getting banged by an animal is.
So when I was a kid, like little kid, my grandfather would always call me and my cousin little buggers. And it was just his thing of, you little assholes, but come here, you little bugger. Oh, and it wasn't until I was like 13 or 14 I actually looked up the definition. He's calling us fucking bestialities or whatever.
Yeah, because you're buggering an animal. Yeah, basically.
Like,
I'm not it's like calling your kid a funny butt, which is a nice way of calling him a smart ass.
Only worse. I guess.
But, we brought this up because there seems to be a lot of people fucking chickens, and some, like nearly 60% of single girls who have dogs let their dog fuck them.
That's the weirdest shit ever. So Brian was telling me this story about, I don't know, tell me the story again about the chick and the dog was like biting her hair or some shit.
Oh, yeah, we were watching YouTube, me and another friend of mine, and she's doing this YouTube video dancing, and the dog jumps up to hump her, and she pushes him off, and the dog jumps up and starts, like, grabbing her by the hair and yanking her around like he was just pissed at her. And it's like, obviously you can tell what's going on. She lets the dog fuck her, and now she turned him down. He's all pissed off about it. You're going to give me some of that pussy, he said.
Dude, that's just so fucking weird. I don't know. I don't understand that entire subculture. Some really weird fucking shit. The only time I'd run across it at all was when I was in Afghanistan, and this dude just gave me a hard drive of, like, all the porn. So, yeah, go through there and pick what you want. So I go through it that night, and I look, looking for, that sucks. All right, a lot of shitty porn on here. And then I go into one for, Jesus H. Fucking A, Rob. I did not want to see videos of you fucking every woman in Japan. Son of a bitch. I can never look at you the same way again.
Sounds like we can be friends.
Oh, then the next day, they're like, oh, well, you shouldn't have looked in that folder. How the fuck was I supposed to know? It's not like my personal videos. It's just like fucking Japan. All right, well, sure. We'll see if you can get Japanese porn in there. Like,
well, fuck. Mine's all Vietnamese, but I mean.
And then he has another mislabeled folder. It's just like crazy videos. Or it was something like, all right, well, I don't know. That's not going with the naming convention you've got through the rest of it, which is like basically ethnicity or a hair color or something.
But it's not bestiality.
No. It was. Crazy
this
videos
last one.
Was, yes. Oh. It was this fucking linebacker-looking woman with a fucking small horse mounting her. What the fuck? You can't get that shit out of your head. Like, that is stuck there forever.
It's like that time my friends took me to a donkey show in Mexico.
I've been curious, like, how does that fit?
It does, and I tell you the worst part about it is the smell. You'll never forget that smell.
The smell of what?
donkey balls, donkey jizz. Like, literally, that thing blows a load inside this girl. There is not enough room in a human cavity to hold that much. So it starts flying out of her like milk from a tin can.
That's incredible.
It's awful. This beautiful woman comes out. She's dancing around, gives you a lap dance, might kiss you on the cheek. I mean, she's an absolutely gorgeous woman. She gets on this big contraption. They bring this donkey out that's got a boner that's got to be 6 feet long. Gets up on top of her, plows about only 12 inches of it. It's like watching a black dude with a tiny little Asian girl. Except then the donkey's like going to town on her, and you just hear her. She's just yelping because this thing is just ginormous. And then it blows its load like within 15, 20 seconds, and it is just an avalanche of donkey jizz.
That is, I don't even know how to respond to that. That's fucking insane.
But I got to say, going back to this Iraq thing, you're lucky your buddy sent you some weird stuff like that. We actually witnessed, and there was Man Love Thursday, which was bad enough. Allah looks away, so they all run down to the jailhouse and they bang all the little boys and old men in jail. I mean, like, literally, it's disgusting. We weren't allowed to do anything about it. But then you're out on a mission, and either the JLens picks it up or you get it on your night vision. You'll see, like, we saw 2 dudes gangbanging a donkey.
I've heard and seen many of these. That's very common, yeah.
One guy in the front banging the donkey in the butt, and the other guy holding the donkey while standing on something and smacking the donkey in the face with his wing, which is bad enough. But the worst one I've seen ever, actually, there's one worse, but it was normal human. This guy was banging his wife in the butthole for like 4 years, and then he tried to kill her because she didn't have any babies. She had blown out her ass gasket.
Retard.
Yeah, retard. But this one guy was banging a sheep, and when he was done banging the sheep, he beat the crap out of it, throwing it over his shoulder, kicking it, stomping on it. And after about 5 minutes of doing that, picked the sheep back up and banged it again.
Jesus, fuck.
Yeah, we shot him.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's God, people are fucking weird.
They are, but
God, some psycho shit.
Can you imagine, though, like something like 60% of single females who have a dog let their dog bang them? Now, let that sink in right there.
I'm just questioning a lot right now. Questioning a lot.
But then you got all the guys that are banging chickens and sheep.
I don't know. I'm very rarely speechless, but I'm pretty fucking speechless right now.
You know how bad it is? There's more states where it's legal to bang an animal than it is to smoke weed in America.
Well, that doesn't surprise me all that much. Politicians, they get the opportunity to make something illegal, and, well, just no one does it, so let's not worry about who's fucking their goat.
It's like Arkansas. I mean, come on. They kept the legal age at 12 years old because the senator had a 12-year-old, like, niece or something he was banging back in the 60s or 70s. Which goes to tell you, if there's people banging animals, they're banging kids because the mentality is the same. And we're fighting over whether or not we should build a wall or let immigrants in here. They're foreign countries. They're already banging animals. We don't need more of this.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, okay, so this is my inner libertarian coming up. You're not going to stop the flow of those people. There's a better opportunity here that they're gonna fight and die for it. That they are going to get here.
The dying part doesn't sound so bad. But there is a legal way to get here, and I think those fighting for those immigrants that came here illegally to keep them here and give them welfare is wrong. I also don't think we need to be spending any more money on walls when we already got guys with guns.
Well, so here's the thing, though. I think you kind of hit on it there as well. No, most people wouldn't give a shit about immigrants coming in this country if we didn't have this giant fucking welfare state. Nobody wants to pay some lazy asshole to not do a goddamn thing but collect a check every week.
Right, and a lot of people that are pushing this welfare state are doing so because dependency equals votes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Matter of fact, speaking of which, I don't want to change the subject too much from immigration, but did you hear about this new Green Deal thing coming up?
I've never heard of it.
Okay, I urge everybody to check this out. What it is people who are interested in the Paris Climate Accords or looking to produce a better environment, which I'm not against. I think it's great. But this new Green Deal is kind of, to me, what I read, a way to create a larger welfare state. They're trying to produce the deal where all vehicles on fossil fuels are illegal, which is fine.
No, it's fucking stupid, but carry on.
No, it's fine, because we do need to start pushing things like by 2025, we should be all electric or all hydrogen, right?
Okay.
Renewable fuels.
If it's financially feasible, sure.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you why it's fucking stupid, though. China's still putting up coal power plants at a record speed.
Well, nuclear.
Oh, coal as well.
Yeah, but they're getting rid of them. They're starting to replace them. Coal is pollutant to the end.
Yeah, they don't give a shit,
coal.
though.
They don't. Have you been to China though?
Oh no,
it's worse than L.A. in 1985.
I mean,
You can't breathe.
I was in South Korea, and yeah, I mean, they
It's pretty
called
bad.